Alright, here's our next step. I went to put that engine back in, and this U-joint goes, see, this goes on the shaft coming out of the back of the engine. This goes into the rear. So this was like this. Yeah, and this was like this. But this wasn't turning. I mean, it was turning, but it took some doing. So I ended up tearing it all apart, and I thought maybe I could clean this up and put it back together, but they're just too far gone. Never had grease on them. Well, I mean, they probably came from the factory with grease. There's no provision for adding grease. You can't, there's no grease fitting. So these, they have like a seal. Right there's the seal for that one. They're completely shot. This is probably the best one. And it's still got the roller bearings in it. They went on like that. These soaking in brake cleaner, and it has evaporated. But if you can see, those are rough, rusty. The I don't know what you call it, mud. The mud that came out of them was red. It was just, they're just really nasty. Partzilla, they wanted $80, I think, for this. I don't remember where I looked. I looked up a couple different places. Everybody wants to just sell this. Then I found on eBay, I found this. It wasn't a, this says Koyo, K-O-Y-O. I didn't find that one, but I found the manufacturer, but they don't sell direct to consumers. They're out of Japan, so I found one that was for this side by side, and it has one of these. It has a grease zerk in the end of it, so you can grease these. This is made to grease because it's hollow in the middle, so it will pump grease through all of them, but it has no grease fitting. I'll be able to install my engine. Until then, I've got the heads yet to do. So I've got both of my heads soaking in a bucket of simple green. I'm going to get them cleaned up. Here's the front cylinder. Rockers look fine. I get all this stuff cleaned up, and then I'll start on the heads on the rebuilding and the new valves and springs and all. All right, here's my new universal joint, and you can see it's got a tap for a grease zerk. Well, it came with this. That's a grease zerk that I've never seen before in my life. But I do have this needle greaser that I believe this is made for. This is made for hard to reach spots. You can use it to just push that ball in on the end of your grease zerk. The regular grease zerk, well, this has got a ball in the end of it like a regular grease zerk, so I'm going to use it. I think I'll put a little bit of Teflon on it first, but let me, these all come right off. Oh yeah, look at that. I took and cleaned these up pretty good. Yeah, that's going to work just fine. And that grease fitting's going to be, well, that one's not going in real easy. All right, that's going to be, I think it's going to be just fine. Get that in there. There. All right. These get the C-shaped snap rings, just like the ones that I took off, but it came with new ones, so I'll get those put on. I'll Teflon this thing, and I can keep it together long enough. I'll stick it in there, and we'll be ready to grease this up and put it back on the machine. Here's our progress so far. Got my engine back in. And the drive shafts are both hooked up. This side back here had a captured nut on it. Right there. This side did not. I couldn't get it in from the other side, so I put it in this way. There's no nut. There's no nut on it on this other side, so I don't remember when I took it apart if it had one on it or not, just to be honest. I mean, it had a nut, but I don't know if it was welded to it, or I haven't found it yet, so I may have to get a new nut for that, but I can twist this front. That's on there good. That took some doing right there. That I had to lift the engine up and down 3 or 4 different times before I finally got it on there. And then I got it on there and got the front engine bolt through, and then it was cocked a little bit on the back, so I had to lift it up. I ended up twisting this front one with my hand and getting it to go in that rear, so we're making some progress. brought it. Beautiful day, so I brought it outside and put the pushed the front wheels up on the ramps so that I can get under it better. And I still have some work to do here. This here is for loose, busted up. That's busted up. This belly pan I took off. I still have to put back. And then I noticed back here, this cover here is bent down. I'm guessing it's caught on something and bent it down, but that's just a heavy plastic, so I may take that off and heat it up, flatten it back out. I may not even take it off. I might just get my heat gun and see if I can heat it up and straighten it back out, because that's nothing but a dirt catcher right there, and just directs that everything right up into that rear transaxle. So I'll have to hook up all this exhaust, which the heads have to go on first, cylinders for that. So that would be my next step, is to put cylinders on. See where I had to take the exhaust off back there just to get it out. I'm going to see what else I can get done here underneath. Well, I got such a nice day. It's in the 40s, high 40s probably, and just really nice. It's windy, but I played hooky from hunting today. It's the second day gun season here in West Virginia, and I hunted all day yesterday, so I decided to sleep in this morning. Here we are. This is the front cylinder. I've already got 2 valves out. There's number 3. I got new valves and springs, so all I need from these is going to be this follower here, and then these keepers. But I'm just showing you here how I take them out. Got this spring compressor. See, one of my keepers fell out right there. Let's see if I can get the light on. One of my keepers fell out. The other one's still in there, so I just take a magnet, take that out. Take that back off. This is intake, and it's not bad. It's got a little rust on it where I had it. I had it out in the rain the other day after I washed them, I set them out in the rain to let them dry off or rinse off. But you can see the difference in the, here's the exhaust. And these are probably not bad, but I got new ones in my rebuild kit, so. All right. This is the exhaust, an exhaust valve. It's not magnetic. That means this cannot be lapped in. That's the intake valve. So this one can be lapped in. This is the old one. Actually, that's kind of sharp. But I got new ones. So that just, I'll check my new ones and just to make sure that they're the same way. These are the valve seals, which I have new ones. So these come off. I guess that part doesn't come off. Nope. So I'll have to clean these up a little bit. I've still got to clean this up. This these exhaust valves have a pretty good build up in them. Which you'll have with exhaust. You don't get that with the intake. You can see how clean the intakes are other than a little bit of rust. The seats look good. So I'll lap these intake ones in with the new valves, and I'll just clean these exhaust seats up real good and put the new ones in. And I have to clean all this up. I'll get all that rust off there. Cleaned out real good. I'm getting ready to lap in the intake. Here's the exhaust valves. They're not magnetic. There's the intake valves. So I lap the intakes in. I just cleaned these up real good. So that's all you do on those. I already got one here. These fit down in here real good. No slop in. You hear it. Here, kind of smooth out. Brand new valves and the seats are in really good condition, so it shouldn't take a whole lot. All right. Now clean that off. I don't know if I should want to turn on. You see the line right there in the middle of that bevel where it was riding on that. That was pretty even. Yeah, that was good. So now we're move on to the next. Here's what it looks like before. See, it's shiny the whole way. And then after, you can see where it's dulled up right in the middle. It's still shiny right on the edge and on the shoulder over here. But it's dulled up in the middle, and that's where it's been lapped in. So I'll just do this the same way. Too much. All right. Okay, that done good on that one too. Those are going on there pretty easy. These intake valves, the ones I lapped in, so I wrote which one I lapped it into. This one says 3 on it. And actually, these numbers are for the head bolts, but I'm calling this one 3. So I know this one goes in that hole. I don't believe there's any difference in ends on these. Seems like it fits a little better on that end. So. These little keepers are tricky to get on there. I just put a dab of assembly lube. It helps them stick onto the valve a little better. It's hard to get your fingers up in there. These, I don't know if you can see that or not. They've got a little shoulder, little ring on the inside. That fits in that groove right there. Like that. And they're tapered, so when that follower comes up, it locks them into place. Let's see if I can move this one around. Working out right. A little bit more. All right, there's both of the intakes. Now tell me what, those springs are stiff. Where's the brand new? So now we're just on the exhaust. And I'll just need to watch that video. All right, about done with this front cylinder head. I just stuck that on there. It's good. Still probably need to do a little bit of cleaning on that, but this is ready to go. I wrote front on it because you don't want to get these mixed up. So I'm going to set this one aside. Start tearing down this one. This one cleaned up a little better than the other one. I don't have as much to do as far as cleaning goes. But I got to get these valves out. Which they come out a whole lot easier than they go in. Those keepers are a pain in the butt. These don't get reused, so throw them on the scrap pile. See all that carbon build up on there? Still sealing good. Boy, it's rough even out on the edge, though. See this one? It's magnetic down there, but it's not down here. That's weird. I don't remember those other ones being magnetic. I didn't check them down here, though. Anyway, that's junk. Get the rest of these out. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Got a little bit of staining here, but that's just about good. I'll do a little bit more. I'm using 220 grit paper, and it's kind of wore out because I've already did the other head with it. Yeah, that's fine. All right. That's probably not showing up on camera anyway. Anyway, this one, same thing. This is the rear head. Need to make sure I get that good and clean, because we don't want abrasive in here. And then I'll start putting these valves back in. I just found in one of the valves that I was opening up a whole new set of keepers. So I'm not going to take the old ones out of the other head, but I am going to use new keepers on this one. I also got new valve seals, but I didn't need them because I already had them in the rebuild kit. So I've got plenty of extras now. These pop right on. I've already oiled them up. There we go. Number 3 is right here. Oops, I forgot. Let's see, y'all don't need to see this, do you? A little different on this one. I went ahead and started my keepers in there. Now I'm going to go down. Not enough yet. hoping to keep them in there while I go down. Well, there's one came out. That wasn't the best idea after all. I'm trying to figure out some way of making it a little easier. There's one. There's two. That was pretty easy. I can get it to stay in there when I come back up off of it. There we go. That was number 4. Good to go on those. So, trying to think. Oh, I wanted to point something out here. This right here it had RTV in it. This hole right here, I blew through it with my air hose. And that right there is where your oil comes up through that little tube. I've got that. That right there. There it is. This tube here, it's got an O-ring on it. It goes in that hole right there. And that oils your cam. That's where your cam sits. Right there. So, and you can see this has got your cam's got a hole in it too, to let it go in the inside. So, I don't know why they had RTV in that groove, but whoever built this last time, they used a lot of RTV, and it was all over. It was hard to clean off, but I got it. It's, I think that's the clear. Yeah. So it's ready to start going back together now. It's got to clean up the valve cover. It goes on the top of this. This gets a new, I'll have to take these out probably and put them in the new cylinder. But I'll clean up the valve cover for this one. It's still got a little bit. I've cleaned this up 4 times, I think. All right, here's our new front cylinder. See, that's nice. It's got some cross hatching on it. Very, very light. I don't know if that's enough for me. So, I'm going to give it a little bit more. Slow that down. Well, that didn't seem to make much difference. You must be using the same stones, because I really don't see any difference in before or after, but that's got plenty of crosshatch in it now. Might have been plenty before, but I just wanted to give it a little extra. Oh yeah, it looks a lot better from underneath. These here, one of them's marked RN and one of them's marked R. I'll have to look in my manual there and see which one's supposed to go where, but right now I just want to check my ring gap. Let's try 14. 14 won't do it. Try. Okay, 12 goes. Just a hair snug. Eleven goes with no drag at all, so no drag at all on 11. So I'm gonna call that about 11 and a half. I'll have to look at the manual and see what it's supposed to be. Try this other one. And we'll just start out with 11 on it. That's 11. Got just a little bit of drag. Maybe I don't have any drag. Let's try 12. There's 12 thousandths. Yeah, 12 thousandths will go. But it's a pretty snug. So I'm going to call that one 11 and a half also. So I'll look at my manual and see what it's supposed to be. And I think I might go ahead and put my pistons in on the bottom, and then when I go to put them on the engine, I just have to hook up my piston. I don't know if that's showing or not, but it says right here that the top ring is the R marked ring. The second ring is the RN marked ring, and they both face up. The R and the RN face up, and it shows the second ring, which is the RN, being completely square. It shows the top ring, which is the R, with a bevel on this inside top edge. I've looked at them. Can't really tell. You can see that this one's completely square. This one, you can't really see that it's got a bevel, but you can see that there's something different in the two. But anyway, the R goes on top, then the RN, and then the oil rings. Got my decompression springs in, and been waiting, I don't know, a couple weeks. That Partzilla, I'm a little disappointed in them. They don't get in no hurry. In the meantime, I took these all apart, cleaned them out, And they're working fine, but since I've waited that long for these springs, I'm going to put them on. But according to the manual, you take these off. You're not supposed to take that center piece out. That is what operates this button here, which is actual decompressor. It says if you take them apart, you can't get them back together. Well, that's not true. I took this one apart. Everything went fine. I cleaned out everything inside, lubed it up real good. You can see it's got plenty of oil on it because after I was done, I poured oil on it, on both of them. This one was fine. This one, you see, is working fine as well. But this one came apart when I took this end piece out, which you're not supposed to do. There's a spring underneath of this, and when I was cleaning, I snagged on that spring and pulled it out. What I did, and it went back in. You can see it's working fine. And these are much better than what they were when I took them out. And they're probably fine the way they are, but I spent $6 on these springs and $8 in shipping. So, plus I ordered 2 extras, so I am going to change these. There ain't anything wrong with that. But like I said, I'm going to change them since I got them. I've been delayed waiting on these. Look at that. That's fine. That's fine, and that's the rear cylinder. And the way you can tell the difference between the front and the rear cylinder is this little groove right here in this, I don't know what you call that, this little ring right here. The front cylinder does not have that groove. The rear cylinder does. So, when I got these in the mail today, I opened them up and I thought, those are wrong. Those aren't near long enough, but they're in a stretched out position when you put them in always. So there we go. That was simple. And you can see this button down here when you operate that goes in. So these are cleaned up and ready to go. My cylinders sitting over there with the pistons already in them. So it's time to put my base gaskets on. It should be that one. It should be that one. It's starting to wind down as far as parts go. There's still a lot of work to do. I've got, I'm just going to keep those springs. There ain't anything wrong with them. And I'll never ever use these, but I'll keep them forever. So, next thing is put these on and get the cylinders on. Just putting a real thin layer of gasket maker on there. I do mean real thin. All I'm doing is sticking the gasket to it. Truthfully, it doesn't really even need that. Come on. All right. Now, according to the manual, for some reason, looks like when you start putting this back together, you go rear cylinder first as far as camshaft goes. So I'm just going to start with the rear cylinder, putting the cylinder back on. Now, I seem to be missing a dowel pin. So I'm guessing that's in the head. I'm going to need three hands. That's what I'm going to need. I need to put some oil on the inside of that connecting rod first. And in there. That way. Nope, missed it. I don't want to pull that piston back up out. There it went. Come on. That's in there, and I've already got the clip in on this side, so it's in. Let me just grab one arm and see if it'll pull out. No, that's good. Yeah, that's good. So, that's in. All right. Oh, I think God is caught. There it goes. Get in here. One of them bad pins, I guess. Oh no. Man. Oh, what in the world? There, man. There it goes. Forget it. Oh. Wrong way. There, man. I got it. There we go. All right. I think I'm just going to cover this up and just go ahead and do the front cylinder. All right. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go ahead and do the front cylinder too while I'm here. A little bit of dried material in the end of that tube. All right. Once again, this one's missing a dowel pin too. I didn't put enough. This is where there should be a dowel pin, but it's in the head or the cylinder. So there's nothing there to hold that gasket on. There it went. Okay, now it's in. that's in. Now, I get that ring in that side. Let's see, I need to make that a little smaller. I need that to be in further, right there. In, got my chain guide in. The other chain guide is loose, so it doesn't have to be in yet. Oh, chain was doubled up underneath it. Now, there we go. There it went. That's it. Both cylinders are on. That's plain oil. All right. Next, we'll put the heads on. Put the cams on. I'm getting a little closer to firing it up. All right, rear cylinder. I just put this in, which that just goes down in there like that. The chain rides on that one. This one gets the chain tensioner in the backside once everything's done. I got these two bolts in, 87-inch pounds, which I've already got them there. Got this, got the O-rings greased up on this. This is the oil tube that takes oil up to the head. So right there. All right. So put the head gasket on. This side's ready for the head. where to. I think I'm going to just go ahead and do that. No, let me go ahead and do the let me go ahead and do the front cylinder. The same thing on the front cylinder. Just got to find the oil tube and the chain guide is over there. So and these two bolts I got to find. So let me go find that stuff. Let's do this one right there. Let's do this one there. Come on. Well, it's nighttime, right? No. Well. All right. All right. That's 16. All right. And bump it up to 36. That's in there. Yeah. Come on. All right, now look up these two right here. Next, look up 4 on 87 inch-pounds on those. Little M6 bolts. All right. I am on the driver's side. Get that out of the way. Took this plug out here, which gives me this window. And we're starting on the right side. Let me see if I can. I'm right in the way of the light. Anyway. Stupid thing. I don't know if that's showing up or not on the camera. But right there is the RT. And it's lined up. There's a little dash right at the bottom of them threads. I can't coordinate there it is. There's a dash right at the bottom of them threads. So that RT is lined up with that dash. So that puts the rear cylinder at top dead center, and now I can install the rear cam. This rear cam has a groove in that little piece right there. It has a groove right here. That's how you know that's the rear and not the front. I don't know if you can see it or not, but that FT is lined up with that little groove at the bottom of the thread. So that means the front cylinder is now top dead center. So I can put on the front cylinder. Yeah, that's good. All right. All right. Okay. There's the arrow pointing up right there. Change how you're trying to face it. Here. Get closer. Ah, goodness. It's a bit tighter than the other one. There, man, oh, most of the way, and then pop back off. All right, let me turn the camera off like this. All right, I got the front cylinder cam in. You can see, well, I don't know if you can see or not. Let me, this arrow right here on the top is pointing up, and then you got a dash here and a dash here that lines up with this case. And so I think that's about as close as I can get it. It may pull around a little bit once I put the chain tensioner on, but I'm guessing that the next step is to put these head covers on, and that will hold the that'll lock that cam in there and keep it from moving. So let's look at the manual and see what's next. Good over here, is it? No, it's still got. Oh my, what happened there? Well, it never touched, did it? I think it. I think that pin sticking up out of there is a little boogered up on that back side. Over here it went, and over there. All right, that's good. So these are marked the tightening sequence 1, 2, 3, and 4. These go to 78 inch-pounds. And then all the rest of these go to 87 inch-pounds. So these are, these take a 10mm socket, and the rest of them all take an 8. So these are the first here. Do I have this on? No, I don't. Let me. I don't know why those are. They're not tight. They're just not wanting to run by finger. These have washers on them, little washers. They're real thin. I was missing one for the front, and I haven't done the front yet. I've just got it setting on. But I was missing one of the washers. I went ahead and got all my bolts cleaned up. These bolts had a pile of RTV on them. I went ahead and got them all cleaned up and ready. For both sides. And I had to make a washer for this. What's going on here? That's right. What is going on here? Stripped out too. What do I do now? Only one of those made it to the 78 inch pounds. Oh no. Well, I'm gonna leave them. I'm gonna take it back off and look at it. I'm gonna leave them for right now. Maybe that's why they had so much time to put RTV in. Somebody was just filling a hole. All right, I'm gonna show y'all a little trick I learned. Seen on the internet. You can hear this. It's got some product left in it, but it's a dead soldier. This is the same way. I've got a gum out one over there. Every bit of it came out. This is the AutoZone and Providence. I think that one came from Rural King. But anyway, it's dead, but you can push in on this thing and blast air into it. Ooh, might put a little too much in that one. Actually started getting warm. All right, simple as that. Now, let's see. Look at that. So I've got a little bit left in this one. Uh-oh. That's nice. Wasted a bunch of that. I got the wrong. All right, there's that one. There's that one. So I can use the rest of this that's left in there now. That's just a little trick, little tip. Here's this one. There it goes. Let's hope this one goes a little better. Oh no, didn't make it to the floor either. I'm just snugging these down, and then I'll torque them down to their 78 inch pounds, I believe. There's one. There's two. Three. There we go. That's how it's supposed to work. All right. I ran them down with a little screwdriver. Now they all torque to 87 inch pounds, 87 inch pounds. That's 5. That's 6. And these 4 outside ones. 2 inside ones. All right. There's 5. 6. This one. Chain tensioner in. That's just the body of it. These 2 bolts, they go to 47 inch pounds. All right, then this is the spring, and it's got a pin in the middle of it. And it goes right in there. Come on. There it goes. This goes to 16 foot-pounds. I don't have a socket right here. I thought I had one here, but I don't. So I'll have to get a socket and tighten that down. This on the rear cylinder is back over here underneath where you can't see it. So, and it's right up against the transmission. So I really can't get a torque wrench in there to it, I don't think, but we'll see. But I'll just do that one off camera. And I'll just have to use my best guess at it. That's not much, 40 or 78 inch-pounds. That's not much, and 19 foot-pounds is not much. So I'll torque that to 19, and then I'll put the other one in, 0.10 to 0.15. So I got these, 13, kind of right in between. That one's good. It's dragging a little bit. This one, same. So I had to use a different, you can see I had to bend these. It's pretty tight back in there, trying to get between that valve tip and that, whatever that thing's called. But I had to use a different set of feeler gauges because that one doesn't go up high enough. That's like really small feeler gauges. It's kind of weird. And I got these. These are bent. I had to bend them yet again to get over here into the exhaust side. And that's 20 to 25. 0.20 to 0.25 on the exhaust. So I got a 20 and a 25. I can get the 20 in. I could get the 20 in on this one, and it's just about perfect. So I'm not going to mess with it. This other side, I had to push it open to get the 20 in. So I adjusted it a little bit. I can get the 25 in it, but it drags. So it's somewhere between 25 and 20. So that's good. Now I got to roll the engine and bring the rear cylinder up the top dead center and adjust those. So that's going to be my next move. All adjusted now. Both heads. Put these caps on now. I hooked up a couple of the wires on that other side. And I'm getting close to where I started. All this stuff was already tore off. So I am going to have to go through all this stuff and figure out what goes where. Thinking once I get these coils hooked up, hooking the battery up and turn it over and see if I got spark. I still have to put oil in it. I don't want to do that until I get oil in it, but I mean, I put plenty of oil in here when I was assembling it, but I need to turn it over and get that oil circulating through the engine. So I'll do that. Try to figure out where some of these wires go. I see this one coil here. I'm sure this is this one. So I don't see the other one yet. Then here's the carburetors go here. I may just put a little gas down here, turn it over and see if it'll bark off. But I've got to put the exhaust back on first. I'm sure this will be very loud without the exhaust on. So, all right, here's my solution for this problem. The radiator cap. It's under this hood. The only way to get this, to get to it, is to take this hood off. And I'm not sure how that happens. You might be able to just take it loose and pull it up, wedge something under it to get to it. But I came up with this idea, and it's working pretty good so far. I just took this roll of duct tape, set it on there and traced around it, close to where I thought the radiator cap was. Then I took a little bitty drill bit and drilled about 1,000 holes around the edge, and then I took a little saw blade on my Dremel and ran around it and cut it out. And right there is the radiator cap. And it's, I believe somebody has put some kind of leak stop stuff in there. I don't know, it feels like sand. But anyway, I can get to it now. And I'll tell you what, look at all this mud and dirt here laying on top of the radiator. This thing has been rode hard. There's mud all over everything. So I don't know if it's been buried up or what. You can't really see up in there. There's mud all over the top of that. So I'm not finished yet, but I'll put this around this edge too. And then I got this little kind of a clamp latch to go on here. I started off with one of these little rubber latches, but those that's one of the problems with ordering stuff off of Temu. You don't know how big stuff is. I thought these were a little bigger than what they were. I got 2 of them. I took one and I bent this thing to where it would be facing that way so that I could put it on there like that. But these little things are so stiff that I'm afraid I'd tear whatever I put in there. That's just plastic. I'm afraid I'd tear it out. So I found this, and I kind of like it better. And it's adjustable. You can move it further away from your thing or wherever you need it. There's an inch or so of play there. I'll put this on either like that or like that. I'm thinking like that. And all it's doing is holding that door closed. And this will not get used very often, but when I go to fire this up, I'm going to have to fill this up. I took this cap off the other day and I could hear the coolant leaking out from where it's all disconnected up around the motor yet. So I'm going to finish this up, put that hasp on, and then start hooking up all of the coolant and everything to the motor itself. I am trying to come up with some way of getting a new heat shield on here, because this one was missing. It kind of looks like this one here. Or I'm assuming it does. It's gone. So I'll have to make something. I tried doing this on the side-by-side, and I just couldn't get it. So I ended up having to pull the cover off the back and pull the muffler off to get this off. But I got it off and got it drilled out. This thing's sitting right down alongside the engine, so it's hard to get to. So I put this nutsert in on this one. And these nutserts, they collapse. This part right here is what collapsed. Well, you can see that's touching the actual pipe right there. So what I had to do was take and cut some of it off so it fits down in there a little better. There, that one works real good. That one didn't go down in that far, I don't believe. But anyway, when I put this one in and unscrewed my tool, it came back out with a couple threads on it. So I don't know if these are going to even hold or not. I was able to get a screw down through it. So let's see what this one does. See, that one's not. There it goes. Say it's not going as far as it did just a second ago. There it goes. All right, that one didn't come out with any threads on it. So both of these busted off when I tried to take them out. So I got me a couple M6 and yeah, that one's going to work just fine. Don't know for sure about that one, but I did get it in and out, so I think it's going to be all right. This thing has got well, it's got these like almost like, let's see if I can get it. You probably can't tell it. It's got almost like a I'm trying to find a word here. Steel wool. It's almost like a steel wool washer, and there's one on each side of that heat shield. They were still on there. I saved them, so I can reuse them. And I'll probably have to come up with some more washers to take up. I'm not sure how long these bolts in here are. They're not this long though, so I'll have to stack a couple washers on that probably. And I got to come up with something to make the heat shield out of. But at least I've got something I can screw into now. So we'll see how that comes along. There's my new heat shield. It ain't going nowhere. I still have to get a new clamp for here because that one broke off. Exhaust pipe with the heat shield on it. Back in place. I got the muffler and all tightened back up, put back on. Put my protector back underneath the bed there, so it's ready. What I made that heat shield out of, I don't remember where I got this, but it came in something. It's packing, and it says here, fixing plate, discard it after taking out. So I thought, yeah, I'll just keep that. And there, and sure enough, I used it. Now, I'm missing, this is as close as I can find, and it's way too big. I need something like this, but it only gets 3 wires running through it. And I've had those, but I can't find any. I looked at Walmart. They didn't have any last night. So I'm just going to make one out of this, which is what I trimmed off of this edge right here when I made that heat shield. So I'm going to use a little 3 or 4 inch piece of this and make that loom or whatever you want to call it that holds them wires. Anyway, that tells me it's timed right. I can go ahead and put everything together. Alright, I tore the cards apart. All I did was take them off of the motor, turn them over and tear the bottoms off, and I could get to everything. Already got this one put back together. Double checking everything. And I've done them one at a time so I didn't get any parts mixed up. So this one's ready to go back together. The other one's still in the ultrasonic cleaner. So that should make it a little easier to start when I end up getting it all put back together, the fuel tank and all. But it did start. It just acted like it didn't want to start with the carburetor. So it started with starting fluid, then it ran on the carburetor, and I had that fuel line. I had that clear fuel line hooked in here, and you could see it going down as it was running. So it was taking fuel, and it was running. But it should run better now with these carbs being cleaned. So I'll put this other one back in here, and I think that's going to about do it for this video. I'll get this all put back together and then start putting everything else. And that's going to take a while because like I said earlier, I didn't take this all apart, so I'm just looking at the manual and trying to figure out. I did have a piece right here that I had to take out to get to that exhaust. So I'll put it back, and I'll be cruising. So thanks for watching Devo Does Stuff.